Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I object!
Welcome to MsMojo, and today I'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 interrupted movie wedding moments.
Excuse me.
For this list, we're taking a look at big screen scenes where someone or something suddenly stalls a wedding ceremony or reception.
Andrew, this was a business deal, and you held up your end, but now the deal is off.
Number 10, a royal wedding. The Princess Diaries 2 royal engagement.
Is this part of the plan? No.
In order to secure her place as Genovia's future queen, Mia becomes engaged to the Duke of Kenilworth, although she doesn't love him. Their wedding is a glamorous affair, complete with a Stan Lee cameo for some reason. As the young princess walks down the aisle, however, she gets cold feet and retreats.
I'm going to need a minute or two.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Upon receiving some heartfelt advice from her grandmother, Mia returns with her head held high and delivers a totally empowering speech.
My grandmother has ruled without a man at her side for quite some time, and I think she rocks at it.
Gaining support from Chris Pine's hunky Nicholas, Mia convinces Parliament to abolish law on royal marriages.
Ask yourselves, would you force them to do what you're trying to make me do?
Since it'd be a crime to waste a perfectly good wedding, Queen Clarice finally chooses to marry her faithful bodyguard Joe. Who knew politics could be so magical?
Am I too late to ask you to accept my hand in marriage?
Well, I thought you'd never ask.
Number 9, money can't buy love. It happened one night.
Yes, sit down. Thanks.
Almost every romantic comedy is borrowed from It Happened One Night, which arguably laid the groundwork for the genre. This delightful road trip movie follows bratty heiress Ellie and cocky reporter Peter, who fall in love despite their differences. Due to a misunderstanding, Ellie decides to marry King Wesley instead.
You don't want to be married to a mug like Wesley. I can buy him off for a pot of gold.
Ellie's millionaire father offers to pay Peter for his trouble. Since money can't fill the void in his heart, though, Peter only takes $39.60.
You want $39.60 in addition to the $10,000.
What, 10,000?
The reward.
Who said anything about a reward?
I'm afraid I'm a little bit confused. I assume that
Look. All I want is $39.60.
Accompanying his daughter to the altar, Ellie's dad informs her of Peter's selfless actions. Coming to terms with her feelings, Ellie is motivated to abandon the extravagant wedding and be with her true love. That night, the two reunite and tear down the walls of Jericho.
What happened? I haven't the slightest idea.
Number 8, Steal the Bride, Maid of Honor.
I pride myself on being honest with everybody. But there's somebody I've been lying to for a very long time. Myself.
After years of just being friends, Patrick Dempsey's Tom discovers that he loves Michelle Monaghan's Hannah, who's now engaged to someone else. Determined to stop the wedding, Tom hops aboard a horse and races to the chapel. Making a rousing entrance, the steed literally sends Tom crashing through the church doors just in the nick of time.
Tom? Tom! Tom!
Laying all his cards on the table, the maid of honor professes his affection for the blushing bride. Unable to deny her feelings, Hannah calls the wedding off and smooches her dearest friend.
I love you, Hannah. I always have. And I always will.
Her groom takes this news surprisingly well, but he can't resist decking Tom before parting ways.
She said I should deck you.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
It might not be very realistic, but this ceremony is nothing short of McDreamy.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. At last, you may kiss your bride.
Number 7, Green Card Marriage, The Proposal.
It's not a question, but I do have something I need to say.
To avoid deportation, workaholic Margaret forces her assistant Andrew to marry her. Upon getting to know Andrew outside of an office environment, Margaret unexpectedly finds her soulmate. Although Margaret wants to be with Andrew, she can't bring herself to marry him for the wrong reasons. Wearing one of the most hilariously ugly wedding dresses in movie history, Margaret makes an announcement in the middle of the ceremony.
I am a Canadian. Yes, Canadian. With an expired visa, who was about to be deported. And because I didn't want to leave this wonderful country of yours, I forced Andrew here to marry me.
Admitting that this engagement was all about her work visa, she calls the wedding off and agrees to return to Canada.
So I blackmailed him to come up here and to lie to you.
It's a genuinely sad scene that exposes how warm and vulnerable Margaret is under her hard-boiled exterior. Fortunately, Andrew sees Margaret for who she truly is and goes after her.
So, Margaret, marry me. Because I'd like to date you.
Number 6. The South has risen again. Sweet Home, Alabama.
Andrew, you don't want to marry me.
Patrick Dempsey appears yet again on our list, but this time he's the groom that gets left at the altar. His bride-to-be is Reese Witherspoon's Melanie Carmichael. The problem is that she's still technically married to her childhood sweetheart, Jake.
I gave my heart away a long time ago. My whole heart. And I never really got it back. And I don't even know what else to say, but I'm sorry. I can't marry you.
As Melanie prepares to wed Dempsey's Andrew, her lawyer reveals that she hasn't signed the divorce papers yet. With a pen in hand, Melanie realizes that her heart belongs to another. Only wanting Melanie to be happy, Andrew lets her go without a fight.
So this is what this feels like.
His mother isn't nearly as forgiving, lashing out at Melanie and the entire state of Alabama.
You go after him, you little bitch!
She goes too far upon insulting Melanie's mama, which results in an applause-worthy punch.
Oh, go back to your double wide and fry something.
Number 5. Change of plans. The Wedding Planner.
You did some job. My girl's gonna knock him dead.
This romantic comedy has 2 broken engagements for the price of 1. Although Jennifer Lopez's Mary and Matthew McConaughey's Steve are so clearly in love with each other, they both wind up betrothed to different people. After peacefully parting ways with his ex-fiancée, Steve races to stop Mary from tying the knot at Town Hall. Steve can't beat the traffic, but the bride's father fortunately speaks up.
Fine. Then let us proceed.
No.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, hell, I object too.
Realizing that he can't control his daughter's life, he pleads with Mary to follow her heart.
This is not what you want. This is what I want. Shame on me.
I'm so lucky to have a father like you. But you're right.
While Mary almost goes through with the wedding anyway, she decides not to settle at the last minute. Steve eventually tracks down the wedding planner, who saved a dance for her true love. All right. Number 4. One Last Crash. Wedding Crashers.
I'm sorry I'm late. Glad you're here.
John has crashed countless weddings in pursuit of getting laid. During the climax of this laugh-a-minute comedy, though, John crashes a wedding in pursuit of love.
You look really pretty, by the way. That's all I'm gonna say.
Taking his place as Jeremy's best man, John can't resist whispering to the object of affection, Claire Cleary. As Claire begins to storm off, John attempts to atone for his years of deceit and meaningless sex, not to mention the funeral he recently crashed.
And I see this widow, and she's a wreck. She's just lost the person she loves the most in this world. And I realize we're all gonna lose the people we love. That's the way it is. But not me. Not right now. Because the person I love the most is standing right here.
Hearing his moving declaration of attraction, Claire decides to take a chance on him. Her jerky fiancé isn't too pleased and prepares to charge at John.
Oh God, here goes.
Luckily, the groom has his best man's back. All that's missing is a cliched yet heart-tugging kiss to seal the deal.
It'd be a total cliche if I kissed you right now.
Yes.
Number 3. The Bride Wears Blood. Kill Bill Volume 2.
Now, when we come to the part where I say you may kiss the bride, you may kiss the bride. But don't stick your tongue in her mouth.
If you saw Kill Bill Volume 1, you already know how the bride ended up with a bullet in her head. Volume 2 goes into greater detail, however, revealing the phenomenal build-up to the wedding massacre. As the impregnated bride rehearses her wedding, an old flame drops in for a surprise.
Hello, kiddo.
At first, it seems like there's no bad blood between Bill and the bride. He even asks to watch the ceremony.
You want to come to the wedding?
Only if I can sit on the bride's side.
As Bill seemingly gives the bride his blessing, though, he actually condemns her to death. The Deadly Viper assassination squad arrives moments later, and the infamous wedding chapel shootout ensues. The audience might have known this was coming, but that doesn't make this scene any less intense or shocking. Number 2. Do You Love Someone Else? 4 weddings and a funeral.
If any man can show any just cause why they may not lawfully be joined together, let him speak now, or else hereafter forever hold his peace.
You'd think a movie that packs in 4 weddings would get old after a while. Yet this romantic comedy manages to be consistently charming, funny, and exciting, particularly as we reach the 4th wedding.
I'm sorry, does someone have something to say?
Although Hugh Grant's Charles is in love with Carrie, he decides to marry Henrietta. When the vicar gives somebody the chance to object, Charles's deaf brother David is unable to hold his tongue. Using sign language, David informs his brother that he can't commit to somebody he doesn't completely love. He also points out that Charles's fly is undone. Following a lengthy pause, Charles confesses that he loves another woman.
Do you love someone else? Do you, Charles?
This is probably the only time a bride has punched out a groom for saying "I do."
I do.
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Oops, I'm so sorry.
Wow, really good reception here.
My fiancé that is, he thinks we better call it a day. And I quite agree with him.
Sydney, come up.
Oh, no, I'm fine. Back here.
Please, yes.
You sure?
Yes. I hope you don't mind.
You invited him?
What an asshole.
Number 1, Elaine, The Graduate. At first glance, it might seem like The Graduate has a conventional happy ending. In a race against the clock, Benjamin arrives at a church to break up Elaine's wedding. Banging on the window, he repeatedly calls out the bride's name, infuriating all the guests. Elaine, however, decides to run away with the crazy punk. The lovebirds flee from the church and hop on a bus, but then reality starts to sink in. While they say nothing to each other, the look of regret on Ben and Elaine's faces suggests that they think they may have made a huge mistake. The music of Simon and Garfunkel only confirms that these two have a long, uncertain road ahead. Maybe Elaine should have married the other guy.
Within the sound of silence, in restless dreams I walk alone, narrow streets of cobblestone.
Do you agree with our list?
I do.
What's your favorite interrupted wedding moment? For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to MsMojo.
With every death, there comes rebirth. It's a circle of life. We're gonna be all right.